What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Not many things besides maybe basic hygiene drives Yu-Gi-Oh players crazier than the no sooner than date on the ban list, and that's rolling up on us March 1st. You already hear rumors, oh, it's gonna drop after the extravaganza, it's totally gonna be on Monday. No, it won't be Monday, but it will drop this week. All sorts of different people saying something, and unless you have a line directly to Konami's office, rather than your dad's sister's dog walker who happened to walk by a fence over near the Konami employees who you heard over the barbecue laughing about Engage coming unbanned, well, then you probably don't know what's happening with the ban list, when or where. That being said, that's not stopping anybody from spending their money, and with patient zero brainworms, we see Unlimited, pretty sane, around $7, actually under market price, and First Edition around $30. People making the market go burn. It seems like a lot of the taste for this ban list, where people are spending their money, is the Eternal format, as it's been dubbed. Along with Sky Striker, you have Orcus. We've already covered Dengirsu going up. Now Galatea kind of going up and down, following around. You can see the market price inflating as actual sales happen. Girsu up from that $22 mark. People also looking around at Super Orcus, Harpour, and stuff like that. Near mints now above $5. You can see it above the market price, and it was $3 not too long ago, having dipped back down. So people spending money around there. Then you also have Thunder Dragon Colossus. This was as low as 52 again at one point, back towards 58, not the biggest jump. It floats between 50 and 60 pretty commonly. And Electromite, who could forget Triff, best deck, that's really up there as well. You see the Extreme Force version's $20 lowest. Let's see if those are the first heads or anything around there. Where do the first editions stop? I didn't actually look at this. $30, similar to that Engage. So people really looking at that, and then also thinking maybe Mirage Stalio can come back. Whenever you're talking ban list, you're talking speculation. A lot of people now have nostalgia for this format that they once asked to end. I'm tired of these same top decks over and over. Oh, please bring them back a year later. It's gotten so much worse. People are already turning the villain into the hero, hoping for pieces to come off, and the money is moving behind that. All I have to say is it's not a bad move to buy cheap and then just list before a ban list happens and then get the money there, but do fulfill your freaking orders if you miss. If the ban list does peel off and you're like, oh wait, cancel order, relist, don't be scum. Don't do that. Make your sale, make your profit, be happy with it, fulfill a customer who made a risky call, because you know all of this isn't happening. Now, how can we talk about a ban list without Maxx C? People going for that knee-jerk clickbait reaction of, oh my gosh, Maxx C Ultimate is up. No, it's been around 500. This is actually down a little in terms of what's actually available for the Ultimate Rare, but the Secret Rare is going a bit haywire. You see a market price of 46, which indicates the Secret Rare Unlims are selling around there, and in fact are up past that towards $56 here. And then when we're looking for the first heads, wow, they're going to be starting around $115. And a lot of people have nostalgia for this, but this is almost what its price was back for the meta days. We've been talking about how old school Secret Rares have gone up, estimated value pulled versus sets, and so many other things on Market Watch. The Secret Rare, the second highest rarity, really starting to challenge even its old meta prices, is kind of crazy. Fiber Jar is an interesting little case here, as we see a lot of people highlighting and talking about this one. It's very easy to make a Dark Beginning 2 rare, or, for example, a Legendary Collection 4 version of this disappear, because Legendary Collection commons are much harder to get than even some of the holos, so you see this is up towards $7. But I think something has to give here. Either the Ultra Rare Unlims are going to go up, or those common and less, versions of this card are going to go down, because when I'm looking over at this, you can get near mint unlimited ultras around $8. This is $1 more right here, and they stay under 10 for a good little bit. If you have these near mint ultra rares, and Legacy of Darkness, not one of the easiest unlim sets to get, you have this in this condition, regardless of the first edition, like, you're still a holo version ahead of those other two. Dark Beginnings is not Dark Revelations. The population of those cards are much wider and thicker, but a rare is an interesting look on Fiber Jar. There's only 3 Fiber Jars, but the Unlimited Ultras being almost the same price as the other two, I think they'll start to trek up, or these will go back down. One of the two. Let's talk about something not ban list related. The Starlight market is starting to really get intense again. People are spending a lot of money here all of a sudden. It almost felt ignored, left out in the cold. Prices kept dropping, and all of a sudden, money pushing in above market price. Triple Tactics Talent, way above market price. Dogmatica Ecclesia, oddly enough, ahead of Triple Tactics Talent. You have Zeus going from what you could get around $300 and all of a sudden at $475. I told you guys this felt like a $500 card. The question was if or how long it would take to get there. Not that long, it turns out. Trishula above its price, maybe thanks to the structure decks. Pot of Prosperity above its price. Everything seems to be getting bought up a little bit towards the higher end of Starlights. Now, Chamber Dragon Maid is around $290 if you actually click on it and look through the prices. There were a couple $270, $250s listed by lower rated sellers. Those are gone as well. So the Starlight's getting a ton more attention versus just the vintage market, people revisiting it. And the lower end Starlight still hovering around the 125, 150, but they stopped their dipping down to ridiculous proportions where you could get them 110, and it looked like they might head towards 100. So either really deep pockets got interested, or people took the, oh, okay, finally, these prices are down. I've been waiting to do my collection. I'm going to go ahead and get it. I got my tax return. One of happened. I think it's more so the deep pockets than a bunch of individual investors all at once, but there's no real way to tell other than the timing's a bit suspicious that it's all happening at once. Even Sky Striker Ace Rose, here's a Spanish one for cheap before you get into the English ones being $340, $350, once again above market price. What do you guys think of the Starlight rare market? Is it solid? Will people continue to juice this with only, you know, a total of 20 Starlights being released a year unless something gives like promos or special cards? You got 5 in each core set. I mean, you do have like the Starlight Utopia and then you have the 10,000 Dragons, so couple more a year possible, but there's not the most released a year, and it will still have more options on its market throughout and less desired ones among the top ones. I wonder how this will just evolve over time. Also, the collector rare market is kind of interesting. Ash Blossoms are up on every single front even more. Oh my gosh, structure deck ones are going above the gold rare ones. People still trying to avoid gold rares. Dual power ones are up 15 listings. Look at this. Almost every single version of Ash is going. I hope we get another reprint in a March reprint set. I don't know that it's likely after they just did Gold Series, but this is insane. We get non-short printed Gold Series Ash Blossoms and they get bought out as well. This is, I hope you have yours, and if you're getting into Yu-Gi-Oh, sorry for what you'll have to spend on a playset. We were talking about estimated value pulled versus older sets and how things might be changing. Somebody actually brought up Jar of Greed, which goes into an interesting collectible point of memorable bad Exodia decks alongside the pot collections like Pot of Greed, Pot of Duality, those kind of things. And so it's actually kind of wild to see what even Unlims are going for at this point, towards $8 for this old school super rare, and then you see it's $9. You're trying to even get a playset, you're looking further, you're back up towards $10, and then the first editions are at $37, $38 near mint. Is this too much? Is this too little? You look at Labyrinth of Nightmare, this is an extremely old set, not the easiest to get even unlimited. How many iconic cards are up here? Quite a few, so it ends up actually being down versus a lot of them, but I don't know. I think it's very, how the market's going to develop on old school vintage cards and how they're going to go versus the boom that Sealed had and people hunting down ones to grade or just for their collection themselves. A lot of prices are going to be hopping and changing in this disproportionate, crazy void that's been created by sealed prices all the way up here, singles all the way down here. It's wild. Lightning Cheetori has had revolving buyouts on it. Remember, there is wind support that has not been named coming up in a duelist pack in the future. This will focus around, I guess, characters from the show with it being a duelist pack. So we have no clue if rank 4 is going to be good with it, but people spending their money nonetheless, very low quantities on the market. If we're talking GOAT format, I just wanted to point out one more time a couple of penny stonks within Morphing Jar. Morphing Jar Super Rare is below almost all of its commons out of an OTS pack that, mind you, was shorted and replaced with OTS pack 5. So kind of a wild ride to see the shorted Super Rare actually under many of the commons. I think this is an excellent penny stonk to continue to get for your own holographic nice version of Morphing Jar, because your other really smooth holos, I don't really like how the Ultra looks at a Legendary Collection in Yugi's World, although I guess you can compare that to the Legendary Tournament Pack Ultra, and then you have Gold Series ones. Well, you do have the Super and Ultra Tournament Pack ones, and the rest of them are a lot of different versions of, like, oh boy, Duelist League buyouts that you could do, or, you know, your solid value versus future sales rates, I think, are in those OTS 9 ones, and there's a lot of versions to pick of Morphing Jar. Wild to see a super rare under every single other version in my book. Summon Skull. So people were bringing this back up on stream, and this is something I want to emphasize again. Sales rates are pretty terrible on dual terminal post buyout. Look at this. This has been here for a while. $15, $15, $20, and somebody was like, John, I think this is a pretty good version to buy. I think it's a terrible version to buy, even at $15, because look at what's around it. You have the Dark Beginning 1, and Dark Beginnings are starting to get focused with buyouts for nice looking second comparable versions to Retro Pack. Even bad Retro Pack still sounds good at this point. And you see Summon Skull, the classic, up towards 25. I still think this is a better buy than the dual terminal version to have a classic super rare of it from Dark Beginnings. But you also have the Collector's Tin, which has floundered down to 25 several times, where you could have spent $25 on it. Let's see where it's at, because its market price is up. Any listings? No, people have gone back up on this, and it's around $40. If you'd spent 25, it's looking a bit better, and actually has sales rates to push it to this limit, even though the sales are under its market price. People went wild on it. You have Metal Raiders Unlimited, which actually has a high market price at this point. People are after those Unlim packs on shelves. And then you have Retro Pack 1 Super. You have so many better versions in my book. A Legendary Collection Yugi's World Super doesn't have that old school feel, but still a super rare. So many better versions in my book than that dual terminal. But people really keep pouring their money into dual terminal and Duelist League. We'll see if that pays out long-term versus sales rates. You know, I can't call the future. Maybe they're right. I have a weird confession here. There's the large Ring of Destruction, which I actually don't like, because it's gonna have the updated text versus GOAT format, and I would much prefer to see this in Secret Rare from OCG if I'm playing with it. I know, picky, situational, market man talking about things, but I think the first edition of this is actually somewhat undervalued in terms of what it is. We see the Unlims all the way up at $27, $28, but the first editions are around $80, and I think that actually may be versus the value in listing for first edition of a GOAT card, despite it being a one-of, versus the future with how GOAT stocks keep going. $80 may be actually a very good deal on this in the future. When it comes down to the Retro Pack version as well, it has sunk down versus those shock value prices to around $140, $150. This has been higher in the past. You can even see market prices around that price. I think both of these versions are pretty nice. I just think first edition original might be Retro Pack long term, but Retro Pack along with DR4 has that name carrying. Which of these two do you think are the better version? And am I eating / drinking the Kool-Aid? Is this far overpriced? Things have just gotten crazy? Or versus Pharaonic Guardian first edition and how its sealed has gone? Is this actually underpriced for what it is? Am I sounding like a ranting, raving lunatic? I think versus like even sealed loose Unlim packs, that's crazy that the first edition chase card of the set, far above everything, is actually that low. Upstart Goblin Super Rare came up on stream, and people were saying, I think that this Super from Turbo Pack is a pretty good investment. And to that I say, while certain versions look bad when there's a reprint, I think Super reprinted Upstart Goblin looks really great, and it kind of devalues it and its like ability to go up. Another great example of this long term is Six Samurai United. You know, the Six Samurai legend right here in front of you. Six Sam United, this used to be 30 and even peaked towards $50 to $60 at times on market. You can still get this at 18 to 20 today. The super rare reprint just drove this into the ground, having another one, and it's permanently, I feel like, just taken the legs out from under it, despite it being a fan favorite archetype, despite so many people liking it. And even though this is hollow right here, this is a good looking version of it, and it's kind of permanently thrown this under. Will Upstart share that same fate? I will give Upstart that it has a format in Dragon Ruler format where it's more prevalent and you'll want extras and that kind of stuff, but still, I think that having a competitive super rare really can hurt a card if it's not like an old school classic collectible. And out of MRL it is, but you know, the MRL was a common. Melody of Awakening Dragon, the Cross Souls version, has gone crazy. Lowest listings are around $7, quickly towards 10s. To that, once again, I say the secret rare is right here above you, around the same price. If you're throwing your money in, maybe try to get a first edition if you can still get them cheapish, which around $7. That's I would rather have the higher rarity than the first at original in this point. The only thing I can think of here is people going, Blue Eyes is on the guitar, Blue Eyes collectible, Blue Eyes card, Blue Eyes card. I don't necessarily think that's true. And you also have an ultra rare version from legendary decks as well. So many different holographics of this. This is just kind of mind-blowing to see this and where it's going. And I think there are better versions than the original in this instance. Finally, I know I'm not a weather channel, as I have said many times this week after going through my situation last week. Weather Painter Snow is up in price, probably just to torture me and make me bring this to Market Watch. But recall that this is a short printed card that has not seen a reprint, so people making a funny card go up in price that usually has bad sales rates on Fallout. Keep that in mind if you're shopping for this card or happen to be looking around once you get your tax return or stimmy checks. That being said, thank you for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these conversations. I know it was a ton to cover once again today. These keep getting longer, but you know, whenever I take a little day off, the cards pile up and it goes crazy. Didn't even get to everything today as well. Just wild how the market's going. What do you guys think of the ban list investing people are doing? Boo, yay. Do you have any 500 IQ calls that you might be doing? If so, use that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra. Support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying, and let's see if that ban list drops. Totally not a ban list channel.